Imagine you're burning alive for the whole of your life and nobody even told you that you were on fire. How many people even know that they're in a dream? We have the understanding, there's a 10th gate here, that when I call the name of God, it opens. And the purpose of my life is to wake, not just with my alarm in the morning, but to wake from this worldly dream as well. And that, Satsang Ji, of itself, is something that we should all be massively grateful. The whole world is asleep, the whole world is suffering. Jagata Jalanda Rakhale, Mara says the whole world is on fire. We make no mistake about it. This isn't knowledge. This education is going to make every moment of your life redefined. I am not a banker, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. I'm here to vibrate upon the breath. As I observe my responsibilities as a doctor, lawyer, banker, father, mother, I will be all those roles, but those are just a dream. As I seek to wake from this world, and now the Guru seems someone that we cannot be away from, that we cannot be without. For they're the ones that have told us about that illusion, and they're also the ones that can wake us. Aakho Satnam Sri. Param Satkarjo Guru Khalsa Satsang Ji. Gaj baj ke fateh bulao. Wahe Guru Ji ka Khalsa. Wahe Guru Ji ki fateh. We're all blessed to be in the company of Sun Sahib Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji in their 11th form. They speak to us, they call to us, they invite us, they bring us into their house, that they can share with us the Sikhya that they shared with their son, that they said that they shared with the Guru Khalsa as it would go on to be, that the Gyan that they saw fit to write down in the Pinjari, in the cage, in Chandni Chowk, the saloks that would comprise the Bani that we received, that we refer to affectionately as Bogdi Salok. At the end of an Akhand Path, Sahaj Path, when we come together, for as long as you may have been on this earth, since you were a child, as the weekend's affairs would come together and you would listen to your parents and they would be like, what time is the Bog? What time is the Bog? Asking the question, we must get to the Khand Path for the Bog. Why is it that we have heard this question so many times? Because the saloks of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, Bog Diya Salok, it is at that time we get to learn about the true meaning of life. You can't speak about life. You cannot speak about the light without a complete understanding and being completely unafraid of the darkness. And Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, that one that would give their physical life, so that not just a person or a people, but a dharam would remain free. That one is the source of all light in this creation. There are many that will stand up for their nephews and nieces, for their children. There are many that will stand up even for their own religion. But if we could look into history, we will find there's only one that would stand up for dharam, even beyond our own, even beyond their own. Born into the house of Sri Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Maharaj, it is said that when Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji was very young, that though there were 5 children at that time in the house of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Miri Piri the Malik, that Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji would affectionately pick up Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji would pick up Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, they would rest their head upon their shoulder. Mata Nanak Ji would say, why do you show so much affection to Tegh Bahadur? Why do you rest their head? And they say, I rest their head because the weight that is going to be upon their head is a weight in time to come that only he will be able to bear. Akho Satnam Sri. Yeah, I place Guru Tegh Bahadur's head on my shoulder right now. The weight that he will have to bear is a weight that only he will know the weight of. Only he can bear. This is our beloved Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji. I say our beloved. This is the Jagat Guru. This is the Guru for the entire world. Sad Sangat Ji, our beloved Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, is giving us this opportunity to come together. We should open up our hearts if we're lucky enough to sit in the Guru's Sangat. And Maharaj has brought us here, and I'm speaking just to myself here. Honestly, I'm speaking to myself. But I invite you to just ponder this thought. You could be anywhere right now. I could be anywhere right now. And judging by the way I've lived my life before Guru Sahib was kind to me and allowed me to sit in their Sangat, we've lived so many Thursdays somewhere else doing something else. But in Guru Sahib's kindness, they've taken us from our profession, they've taken us from our home, they've taken us from our families, and they've broken that attachment to allow us to sit in the Hazuri of Maharaj. We should open up our hearts from a place of Shukrana and just say, Yo Maharaj, thank you. Now Guru Sahib, they bring us together and they give us this salok, Jo Praani Mamta Taji. Maharaj is saying, Jo Praani, that person, Praani is that one who draws upon the Pran, the breath. So Guru Sahib could have said Jo Nar, that being, and oftentimes Guru Sahib says Jo Nar, like Jo Nar dukh mein, dukh nahi manne. Guru Sahib refers to a human being as a Nar, as a human, as a being. But in this time of death, of reflecting on death to give us meaning of life, Maharaj is constantly referring to us as Praani. Because it's the fact that we are drawing breath. Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji explained that the greatest gift that we've been given, Bahota Karam, of all the gifts, Karam is gifts, Bahota Karam Likhya Na Jaye, we can't even record all of the gifts we've been given, but the greatest gift, Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji explains, is the gift of breath. Everybody take a deep breath, and as you breathe out under your breath, just under your own breath, just whisper Vaheguru on your breath. Take another breath, and as you breathe that breath in through your nose, from a place of Shukrana, is the greatest gift you've been given. Reflect upon that breath, and as you breathe out, under your breath, sounds different when we're concentrating on the word, right? Under your breath, or just under your breath, breathe out the good mantra of Vaheguru under your breath. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat, Guru Maharaj describes us. They don't call us human beings, they don't call us boys or girls, or men or women, or kings or queens. They call us Praani. Praani, that one that draws the breath. We are breath takers. Maharaj is taking it all back to mindfulness. They say you're not a person in a tiz. You're not a person upset because your wife is ill. You're not a person struggling to meet financial bills. You're not a person struggling to meet the balance between life, Sikhi, and Gristi. You're none of these things. We just understand you're a person that draws breath. And when we take it back to that simplicity, we can take a breath in all of those things and still be successful in our Gurmat, in our Sikhi. To be a Sikh, I heard it so beautifully put, isn't complicated. Wake up in the morning, do your Nityanem, do Simran, listen to some Kirtan, and then go about your day with that in your mind. Start your day on that breath, that you carry those breaths of the day. Maharaj says, Jo Praani Mamta Tajai. The Maharaj says, Mamta. What does Mamta mean? When we bring Mama and Mama, we bring them together. It begins Mamta. Mamta means to be in a state of possessiveness. This is mine, mine. Mamta literally means main, ye mera cheez hai. This is all mine. The problem is, Satsangaji, we associate Mamta with just like, this is my car. We're also, Mamta, we're owning all of the problems in our life as if these are ours to bear. But these aren't. Maharaj says, Chinta taki kijiye jo anhoni hoy. Maharaj says, why are you worrying about everything? Why are you possessing everything? Why are you holding on to that barbed wire? It's in front of you. Why are you gripping it like it's yours? When you grip it like it's yours, Mamata, what you're doing is you're going to just cut your hands. But it's not yours to bear. Maharaj says, Chinta taki kijiye jo anhoni hoy. But whatever is going to happen is my play. This is the play of Parmeshwar Vaheguru. Jo anhoni hoy, e marg sansar ko nanak ther nahi koi. Chalo, we'll probably reach that sloka at a later time. The point being, Guru Sahib is saying, Jo Praani Mamta Tajai. That Praani, that breath taker within you, if you recognize yourself as one who draws upon the breath and you resign yourself to that task, which we can't fail at. Mamta Tajai, when you break away from, when you Tajai, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਿਆਗ ਦਿੱਤਾ, you've broken yourself from that concept that everything belongs to me, this is mine, I am mine. Lobh, moh, ahankar. And in this way, you can also break yourself from lobh, from that greed, moh, from that attachment, and that ever elusive, subtle ego, ahankar. We spoke about ahankar for about an hour just a few weeks ago, how it's not the same as ego. Ahankar meaning that subtle identification with your own mind, that actually I am separate from Parameshwar Vaiguru. Guru Sahib says, Jo Praani Mamta Tajai Lobh Moh Ahankar Kahu Nanak Aapan Tarai Oran Lete Udar. Not only is that person who recognizes that they should go beyond greed and this possessiveness, that this is all mine, not only are they saved, Oran Lete Udar, but they can save other people as well. Akho Satnam Sri. Maharaj is giving us his teaching, therefore, that we have to then break from greed. We have to break from this attachment. How do we do this? What is it? It's easy to say this. We've got to break from mamata, this possessiveness that everything is mine. How do we break from that mentality? How do we overcome these evil, these thieves that are stealing from us of lobh, moh, ahankar? How do we do this? Guru Sahib gives us a deeper understanding in the following slok. Maharaj says, Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa aisi jag ko jaan. You should understand, Jo Supna, this whole world is a supna, is a dream. Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa, be that which you see, aisi jag ko jaan, be recognized that it's a dream. In Meh Kach sacho nahi, within this place, in Meh Kach sacho, there's no truth here. Nanak Bena Bhagavan. Mother says, in all of this care, the only thing that is true is the name of God. Akho Satnam Sri. So this whole maya, this whole care, it becomes a lot easier for us not to have mamata, to have that possessiveness, because Guru Sahib is saying that all of this is a dream. We're encaptured in this dream. And as I was thinking about how to undertake the course and how to share these teachings of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji with the Sangat, there was, we don't often do this, but there was an example of, people call it a movie, it's more like a documentary called The Matrix by the Wachowski brothers, and it came out about a couple of decades ago now. And the idea of the film, for those that haven't seen it, is that the main character, the main protagonist, his name's Neo, and he's walking around, he's got a corporate job, and he's trying to just follow everybody else. But there's something nagging away in his mind, and that's telling him that there's got to be more to this world than just this. And I thought that was really interesting, because for all of the worldly achievements that we have obtained, a subject that I'm really passionate to talk about, because we can't fail to remind ourselves of this enough. We can't fail to be on guard to being tricked by Maya in this way enough. That all of the worldly things that we have, no matter what we achieve, there's always this ever-elusive contentment that doesn't seem to stay with us. And so Neo, in seeking out this truth, he comes to discover from meeting his teacher, if you will, his guru, Morpheus, another character. And this Morpheus explains to him that you're just living in a dream. This whole world is just a simulation. That you're actually enslaved by your mind. And it gets quite deep. Some of the metaphors that they deploy are so similar to the disease of this disease of ego that has taken over so many of us, including me. That he goes on to say that your mind is so consumed by this mamata that even if it was given an opportunity to break out, it would choose to stay in. And so there are examples of characters within the film that refuse, when given the opportunity to unplug and come out of the matrix, they refuse. They say, because in the matrix I can choose all of these false realities, but they seem so sweet to my mind. So the matrix is, if you will, a prison for the mind. And Guru Sahib is explaining this to us by saying, Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa aise jag ko jaan. You should recognize this, you should know this to be true. And when we look at Gurmat, When we go to the Tika of Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji Khasa Pindarwale, as delivered to us by Sant Kartar Singh Ji, the understanding of consciousness and whether we are awake or asleep or a dream, we haven't got to go to Hollywood, because that was just the stimulus to strike our mind, because we're all Western educated. We can associate, or we can sort of relate to some of those examples because of the way we've been culturally educated. When we go back to our history, we find that script, that movie, that understanding has been given to us by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji 500 years ago. Maharaj explains in the Tika of Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji, Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji explains, Bi Manne Sagal Pavan Ki Sod, that those that have Vishwas, that have Pura Vishwas in Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, what they obtain is an understanding of the three false states of consciousness and the true state of consciousness that we should be aiming for. And why that is so important? Why that is so important is because as we're going to go on to explore these three states of false consciousness, and then of course Turiyavastha, the high state of consciousness, what we have to understand is, as we're having this conversation, as we're receiving these learnings, you should be alive to the fact that people spend their whole lives never knowing what you're about to learn from the teachings of Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji now. They spend their whole lives asleep. And this could well be something that offers you the stimulus to realize that and then seek to wake. Maharaj says, Jaga leho re mana, jaga leho, kaha gafal soya. Maharaj is screaming at us, saying, Jaga leho re mana, jaga leho, kaha gafal soya. Why are you asleep? Wake up, wake up. And so, with that question to our minds that we're asleep, we have to then explore that and have an understanding of what Maharaj is talking about. So Maharaj talks about, Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji speaks about the states of consciousness. And they say there is Sukhopatavastha. Sukhopatavastha is that state of consciousness when you are in deep, deep sleep. Where in that state of consciousness, you're so deep in sleep that even if someone knocks into you or they try and shake you, that you are completely so within you that you are even far from your own senses of your body. So you could liken that to a drunken stupor, or you could liken it to being in a coma even, if you will. Or even just to someone that sleeps so deeply that they miss their alarm. They wake up, they look at the iPhone, and it's got the iPhone signal that's been ringing for 20 minutes, but they have no idea. And that state of consciousness is conscious. Why is it a state of consciousness? Because it's something that you can rise to and from. That's what consciousness means. A state of being that you can rise from and to. Then that Sukhopatavastha, if you will, is the deepest or the furthest state from being alive or being awake that we can understand. Then you have Supna Avastha. Supna Avastha is above that. Supna Avastha is that state of being within which you are interacting with Maya. So within your mind, you can be asleep, you can lie down, you can go into a deep dream. And in that state of a dream, oftentimes, you don't even know that you're dreaming. In fact, they say it's a very rare person in a state of supan, in a state of the dream, they're aware of their dream state. So in your dreams, the most fantastic things can happen, things that you would never imagine in reality could exist, but that doesn't wake you up from that state. And it is this state of Supna Avastha that Guru Sahib is saying, Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa, everybody around you is in that state. And guess what, Amandeep Singh? To an extent, you are too. And Guru Sahib speaks about this, that the whole world is in this state of a dream. And in fact, we are too. And when we look at our history, there are so many examples. So there was an example of Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. And a king comes to Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji. They were the king of Mandi. This itihas was told by Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji, Sant Gyani Hari Singh Ji Randave Wale. They came here a couple of years ago. They told the whole pratsang from Guru Pratap Surya's Granth, one of our respected texts. We didn't, but it was quite a long episode. I'm just going to shorten it. And the very short version of the history goes that a king comes to see Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, and they're asking Guru Sahib about these questions about, well, if everything is preordained, then what's the point of making an effort in your life? And all of these questions about Karam, these very difficult and complicated questions, for those that are interested to explore those questions, they've been answered on the Basics of Sikhi YouTube channel. Suffice to say, Guru Arjan Dev Ji says, look, go home and tomorrow you'll get your answers. And that king, what happens is he goes into, he falls asleep. When he falls asleep, he dreams that he's a beggar. And he's not a beggar, sorry, he dreams that he's a very poor person living in a family of labouring class. So it's a very difficult existence that he's having to endure. And in this dream, he's suffering because he's hard work, hard labour. And what happens is he lives for a long time. All of these days are played out in this dream, and he dies, and he sees his family in the dream, and they bury him. And the next day, when he wakes up from that dream, and he's like, oh, I'm back. I'm a king again. I'm a Raja. And he goes hunting with Sri Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj. And on the course of that hunt, he gives chase to some deer, leaving all of his army and everyone behind. And he finds himself in a clearing which looks very, very familiar to him. And in that place, he sees the place that he was labouring and working away and suffering as a labourer in a low-class life in a physical sense. In his dream, he's like, what's going on here? And he follows the lead, he knows the pathways, and he goes back and he finds his family, and they're like, you're dead. He goes, I know in my dream I died, but I'm not who you think I am. And they'd even take him to his grave, and he finds a grave of where he was buried in his dream. And this itihas takes us on a beautiful journey into a mountain, and there's all sorts of other teachings, but because of the time constraints of trying to stay on topic, the point being was that when he speaks to Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj, Guru Maharaj explains to them that your Karam, when you come before the Guru, all of the difficulties and the hardships that you will have to pass through those things. However, when you come into the house of the Guru Maharaj will make that journey so easy for you that all of the Karam that you think you have to endure, that can all pass for you like they pass it in the night while you're asleep. So it's kind of a departation from the main point here, but I think it's important to share that Maharaj is basically saying that all of your negative karam that you have to endure, but Guru Sahib can make all of that karam pass for you in just one night's sleep by being in the company of Guru Sahib. The point that we're trying to make is that king, when he fell asleep, and I suppose this is the real focal point of what we're trying to share from Guru Sahib's Bani today, is Maharaj is saying, Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa aise jag ko jaan. The whole world, you should know, is living in this way that they're awake but they're asleep. And what really strikes me about this, when I was listening to the Katha, Gyanikal once did to speak about this king, and they said, listen, if a king falls asleep and dreams he's a beggar, is he really poor? If a king falls asleep and in his dream he's really hungry and no one's giving him any food because he's poor, is he really starving? Is he in the condition that he feels himself to be? Is he? Of course not. Maharaj says, Madhave kya kahiye param aisa jaisa maniye hoy na tesa. Maharaj says, Bhagat Ravidas, he says, Madhave kya kahiye param aisa. What can I say about this world? So Bhagat Ravidas Ji, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, they're awake, they're alive to the fact that everyone's asleep. They're awake and they're alive, and they're seeing everybody suffering in the illusion of their nightmares. Focus on those words. Maharaj is seeing everybody suffering in the illusion, in the falsity of the nightmares that they're breathing life into. Maharaj says, Madhave kya kahiye param aisa jaisa maniye hoy na tesa. The way it looks, it's not like that, Amandeep Singh. Be alive to the fact that the tragedies that keep you with your head buried under your pillow, the anxieties that keep you shaking, but they're not what they are, they're just a dream. It's just a lot of it has been conjured within our mind. Sadh Sangat Ji, bring this home to your own reality. How many times did you suffer in such a crippling anxiety at the thought of something happening when you were younger, and now you look at that person, you go, how could I allow you to suffer in that way. You look back now 5 years on that person, you're like, how on earth did I let that be an enslavement unto my mind? How many times have you been in that situation where you can look back and you can see that person who you are 5 years ago, they were in a slumber. You're like, how on earth did I breathe energy into that pain and that suffering, knowing that it was, I could just literally take the noose from around my neck and throw it to the floor and say, you don't have power over me. But I choose, as a Sikh of the Guru, to place my head before the Guru. There's no place of worry where I will let myself be indulged. Sadh Sangat Ji, how much deeper down that rabbit hole do you want to go? What if we could just recognize that right now, the fears and pains that we are letting have a stranglehold over us right now, with the bakshish of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, if we just gave up the reins to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, take me where you will, I'm your animal, I am your horse, lead me as you will, that those things would take less control of us. Why have we got to make the same mistake? Narpat ek sangasana soya supne paya pekhari. Maharaj says, Narpat ek, there was a king, Maharaj says. Bhagavad Ravidas, he says, Narpat ek sangasana soya. On their throne, they fell asleep. Supne paya pekhari. And in their dream, they dreamt there was a beggar. And the question then that Gyani Kulwant Singh Ji posed, I'll pose it to you again. If a king falls asleep on his throne and dreams he's a beggar, is he really poor? Sadh Sangat Ji, if we're all sons and daughters of Jagat Guru, Tan Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, are we really beggars in this world, or are we royalty? I don't mean that from a hankar, homme sense, like I'm a big man. No. What I'm saying is, if we come from a lineage of kings, we've got royal blood flowing through our bodies. If we come from a house of queens, and we've got royal blood flowing through our bodies, why are we concerning ourselves with the anxieties of a common man? Why are we allowing those things to live on our mind like they are our masters? No. But Sadh Sangat Ji, the problem is without knowing our itihas, without knowing our history, we don't know of the kingship, we don't know of the royalty, we don't know of the house in which we have been given a place to sit. And so if we don't know of the glory of our Guru's house, and someone tells you you're a beggar enough times, go and chase the pain that I'm throwing over you, eventually you'll just say, well, chalo theek hai, tuada jog gaya. I'll listen to what you got to say. Sadh Sangat Ji, there's a certain irony here that we're so consumed with looking after our children and our nephews and nieces to make sure that they're not being led astray by bad influences in the school playground, that our own minds have been stolen from us, from the kingdom from which we herald. And now the idea of our history seems so important. Now the idea of understanding our Guru's Bani, which is our lifeline, seems essential to our awakening. Supan avastha, my friends, when you're asleep but you think you're awake. Supan avastha. And then we have Sadh Sangat Ji, Jagrat avastha. So we've touched upon Sukopat, that state when you're in a coma. Then we have that Supan avastha. Sukopat avastha when you're in a coma. Supan avastha when you're asleep but you don't even know that you're in a dream. Then we have Jagrat avastha, which we're awake now. So then we think to ourselves, okay, so at least I'm not in a dream, right? But this is the point, Sadh Sangat Ji. We think that we're in Jagrat avastha, we think that we're awake. But even this state of consciousness, even this world that we're living in right now, we can liken that to just a more vivid state of being asleep than Supanavastha. Why? Because this type of existence will also come to an end. And if we're thinking about falsehood, we have to understand what Guru Sahib defines as falsehood. Falsehood, Guru Sahib says, any state of being that comes to an end, that isn't forever, is not true. So any state of being, or to be fair, anything in this world that is not forever, that will come to an end, that has a timeline to it at which it will perish, in the terms that Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj uses, in the language of our Guru, is asat, meaning false, or chutha. Whereas we're seeking the truth. So this state of being that we're in right now, we think that we're awake and we're alive. But insofar as our lives are going to come to an end, and this whole Bani is about that journey of that life coming to an end, we should understand that actually this is also false. And Guru Sahib says the state of consciousness that we should be looking to achieve. And Sadh Sangat Ji, this is why it's so important that we come to the Guru Garh to learn. Most of us don't even know what state of consciousness we should be looking for. Forget achieving it. If we don't even know what we're looking for, how do we seek that out? So this fourth state of consciousness, for many, this will be the first time that we're hearing about it. And this fourth state of consciousness is called Turiya Avastha, or Chotapad, the fourth state of being, the fourth plane. And that state is when you become completely awake and you become one with the source of all creation. And the way that we do that, Sadh Sangat Ji, isn't complicated. We haven't got to go to some rishi in the mountains. Guru Nanak Dev Ji has given us all the Sikhya in this world right now. Ji. And Maharaj is saying to us, Chothapad, in this Turiya Avastha, what we do is we vibrate on the Guru Mantra of the Guru, this tool that has been given to us, and it's a weapon, it's a tool, it's a specific weapon that's been given to us for this sole purpose, to wake us, to awaken us from this state of slumber. Maharaj says that when we vibrate upon that name, be Akha Jiva, then you are actually Jiva. Everybody say Jiva. Say Akha Jiva. Maharaj says, Akha Jiva Visre Marjao. You're only alive, know this to be true. You're heading towards Chotapad, Turiya Avastha, when you are vibrating upon the name of God. Akho Satanam Sri. Vahe Guru. Vahe Guru. Sadh Sangat Ji, there's a 10th gate. This is the purpose for which we come to the Guru Garh, to open the 10th gate. The body is known to expose 9. You go to a doctor, they'll tell you about the 9 gates, the eyes, the ears, the openings down below, the belly button, the different ways, the mouth. And these comprise of the 9 gates from which you can enter and leave the body. But Guru Maharaj tells us about the 10th gate, which is the Dasam Duaar, which is on the top of our head. And when we do Simran, when we vibrate upon the name of God, that gate, by the blessings, by the Guru Prasad of the Guru, will open. And when that happens, Sadh Sangat Ji, then we will be in Turiya Avastha, we will be in that state of consciousness. Now, Sadh Sangat Ji, I'm not saying that I'm at that Avastha, I'm not. I'm beneath all of your feet. I'm many, I don't even know how you'd measure it, I'll just say many behind all of you. However, that's not the point. It's not about comparing as to where you are against somebody else. The point of being here is to learn the purpose for which we are here in this life. Maharaj says that your body is pure if you are vibrating upon the name of God. Kehe Nanak e sarir par van hua jin satgur sio chit lai. That if we can purify ourselves just by vibrating upon the name of God. This is the purpose for which we've come. And when that happens, Sadh Sangat Ji, the universe is no longer separate from you. And you can answer each and every question about each and every particle of the whole universe. Maharaj says, Manne Sagalpa Vanki Sudha. Those that reach that fourth state of consciousness, Maharaj goes on to explain it because they've been there. They are there so they can speak from that place, that vantage point, and they can tell you what happens. Maharaj says, when you get to that state of consciousness, oh my student, oh my Gursik, what will happen is there is no secrets, there are no mysteries left in this universe. That to everybody else, they'll be scared of a snake, but you'll recognize that it's just a rope. You'll see the play for what it is, that it's just an illusion. Maharaj says, quite literally, they say, Rajpayang prasang jaise hai, abakach maram janaya, that everybody's scared of this snake. But for that one who's reached the avastha, they can see that it's just a rope, that it's just a vine that's fallen from a tree. And in this way, the fear of this world will no longer, it's not that you'll become so courageous, but there's nothing to be scared of when you realize the play of this world. Sadh Sangat Ji, to give you an example of this, when Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, when Baba Amar Das Ji Maharaj, they were in service of Sri Guru Angad Dev Ji for 12 years. They met Guru Angad Dev Ji at 72 years old. Before that, Baba Amar Das Ji, they were mocked by people. They were Negure. They were referred to as that one who has no guru, Negure. When Baba Amar Das Ji Maharaj met Guru Angad Dev Ji at 72 years old, just a heads up, for those of you that are thinking that you're behind on your Sikhi, Baba Amar Das Ji, they met the Guru when they were 72. For 12 years, they served in the house of Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. They served with so much sincerity and love and bhavana that they were actually given the Gurgadi. They were made the Guru, ahead of the Guru's own sons, by Daso, by Dato. Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, they gave the Gurgadi to Baba Amar Das Ji. They were 84 years old. When they were made the Guru, Guru Sahib said to them, leave this place. There's going to be irka, there's going to be jealousy and people that are going to give you a hard time. Leave this place of Khadur Sahib, which is the place that Guru Angad Dev Ji resided in, and go and set up a town and go and found the place of Goindwal Sahib. Guru Amar Das Ji is famed for that. The town is famous of Goindwal Sahib. Guru Amar Das Ji founded that place. It's very famous Gurdwara there with a lot of history. Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, they've fulfilled the Guru's hukum. Just to give you understanding of this Chotapad, this fourth state of consciousness, where everything is within your hands. What happens is, by Dato, the son, by Dato Ji, when they found out that the Guruship had been given to Baba Amar Das Ji, they got so angry. They go all the way to Goindwal Sahib, and they see Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj sitting on the takht, on the Gurgadi, where Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is sitting now. And they go and they kick Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. They're so angry. They say, you are just a servant in my Guru's house, in my dad's house. Who are you? They had so much ego, so much arrogance and so much anger. Yeah? Because in their mind they had that Mamta, that this is my Guruship, that I should have become the Guru, right? Jo Praani Mamta Tajai Lobh Moho Ahankar. And in this way they are consumed by these things. They can't save even themselves. So what happens? They kick Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. They fall from the takht. When Guru Amar Das Ji they've got so much nimrata. They're so far from attachment. They're so far from greed, lobh, moh. They're so far from ego. When they stand up, they put their hands together and they say to Bhai Dato Ji, they say, you are the son of my Guru. All they can see is their Guru, right? They go, you're the son of my Guru. My bones are brittle and hard through old age, and your soft foot has kicked my hard bones. But I hope that your bones have not been bruised on this hard body. That was what Baba Amar Das, that's what Guru Amar Das Ji was. And they leave that place, they walk away from the throne rather than engaging in Bhai Dato Ji. And they leave that place. Nobody knows where where Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj has gone to now. Right? Nobody knows. After a while, people have recognized that who is sitting on the throne, they don't have that fragrance of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. That one who's sitting on the throne in Goindwal Sahib, that they don't have that fragrance of love that was shown by Guru Angad Dev Ji, that was shown by Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. So what happens? The Sangat, they start collecting together. They start feeling in their heart that they're separated from the Guru. Sadh Sangat Ji, you won't know this because Guru Sahib is so kind to us. But if a day should ever come when you can't come and do Mathate to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, you will know a pain of separation. And sometimes Guru Sahib tests us. They put us in a situation where you can't see Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, and then you realize how lucky we are. And sometimes that separation is actually a blessing because it makes you realize. Guru Amar Das Ji has been kicked by Dato. They've usurped the throne. They've sat on the throne. You can't steal the house of Guru Nanak. Here, he's tried. Baba Guru Amar Das Ji is gone. Nobody knows where they are. The Sangat now are collecting together, and they're saying, where's Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj? We want to have darshan of the Guru. Where is Guru Ram Das Ji? Where's Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj? And what happens is they don't know what to do. They eventually they run Bhai Dato Ji out. Bhai Dato Ji is run out. Said, you're a fake. You're an imposter. But now there's nobody on the takht, and the Sangat are like, where is our Guru? So what they do is, Sad Sangat Ji, is they think, well, who's the wisest among us? Who's the one that has broken from this universe, that is not asleep? Like we're all asleep, that we let Guru Amar Das Ji leave. Who's the one that is not in Supna Avastha, not in Sukopada Avastha, not in Jagrat Avastha? Who's the one that is in Turiya Avastha? Who's that one that is fully awake to this whole universe? It's that one, that great Jnani, that great Brahm Jnani, Baba Buddha Ji. So they seek out Baba Buddha Ji, say, yo, Baba Buddha Ji, we lost Guru Amar Das Ji, we don't know where they are, please, can you take us to them? Baba Buddha Ji was awake from beyond this world. In this world, if you want to go to Leeds, you have to go on the M1. If you're beyond this world, you just think of Leeds and you can be in Leeds. There are great Mahapurukhs even today. I was talking to Gyani Hari Singh Ji about this just last year. That where he was with these teachers, and many times they would just close their eyes and they would be in different places. Baba Jaswant Singh Ji, their Guruvai, their student, is living in very close here. And I would speak to them before they left this, and I would say, and he would say, I'm with Baba Jaswant Singh Ji, we're in Leicester. I close my eyes and we're in London in just a few minutes. Because they're not tied to this world, they're not asleep in this world. They're observing this world from Jagrat Avastha. They're just here to help us wake. These are the great Gyanis that have taken the teachings of the Guru. Be manne sagal bhavan ki sudh. I've heard that from Babaji's Guruvai themselves. They would say the saloks, the Pogdi salok would start while they're in Leicester. Babaji would hit the front of the car, they would bounce and they would be in London before the sloks of the Khandpat had finished. So the Sangat have come to Baba Buddha Ji and they said to Baba Buddha Ji, said, Babaji, be bakshlo, forgive us, we've lost our way. Take us to that one that you're connected to. Take us to that one that you can always see wherever they are. Baba Buddha Ji, they're so great that they could just close their eyes and they could see where Guru Amar Das Ji was, but they didn't want to show their ego. So what they did was they said, because a Brahmjani is that one who will always sit in the Sangha, you won't even recognize them. That person who I just spoke to you about, they have darshan of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. I often see them sitting in the Sangha among us. You would never look at them twice. Because that is the nimrata, that is the humility of a Gursikh. They will never reveal their quality. They will never show themselves to be great. Baba Buddha Ji is now the great Brahmjani that they are. They say, I don't know how I can answer this question. And how to disguise their knowledge, they call for Baba Guru Amar Das Ji's horse. They say horses are very loyal to their masters. This is their nature. And they touch the horse, they say, this horse will lead you to the house of Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, where you'll find Guru Amar Das Ji residing. So the Sangat now are following the horse of Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. Baba Buddha Ji is there. And the Sangat in this way, they are walking. And they get now to that place. And there's this hut there. And on the hut is a sign which is written on the front door of this hut. It says, whomsoever enters this door is no Sikh of mine. The Sangat now are like confused and they're so frustrated because they know that if the person who's written this sign is speaking of a Sikh, then they are the Guru. Our Guru that we long to have the darshan of, they're just inside this door. But who's going to knock on the door? Who's going to go against the Guru's bachan? So they go, we don't know what Baba Buddha Ji, we manne sagal pavan ki, so that they believe, manne to believe, sagal pavan ki, so that they can answer any question of this universe because they are not bound to this universe. They turn to Baba Buddha Ji, say, Maharaj, give us darshan. How can it be that Guru Sahib is inside, that we can't enter for breaking this door? Who wants to do that? Maharaj, please unite us. Baba Buddha Ji, they look at the hut. Sad Sangat Ji, we see a building that you can't enter but for the door. But for that one who is outside the rules, that one who is not bound by the rules of this world, all they see are kache itta, bricks that had not been fired in the kiln. Baba Buddha Ji looks at the hut, and all they see is that all of the bricks that are joining this hut together, they haven't been fired in the kiln. They haven't been, I don't know how to put it. That what you do is you take a brick and you fire in a kiln, and when you teach it to reach high temperatures, then you can join them together with cement. But all these bricks, they hadn't been fired, they hadn't been prepared this way, they'd just been stacked. Baba Buddha Ji, they go behind the hut and they start tapping away the bricks. They make a hole in the back of the hut. They go through the hole and they sit down next to Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, very, very much close to Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, and they start massaging their feet. They're in a samadhi. Guru Amar Das Ji, they came out of the samadhi, they turn to Baba Buddha Ji, they say, how have you come in here? I'll put the sign on the door. Obviously, this is Guru Sahib's play, right? This is their supna, this is their play, this is their dream. We're just residing in that moment. What happens is Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj says, how did you come inside this place? They said, no Maharaj, your bachan is atal. I would never go against your bachan. I would never do virod of your bachan. But I found another way. Because a Gursikh will always seek to find a way to the Guru. A Gursikh will always seek to find a way to the Guru. And Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj, when they see the hole, they start to laugh. And they say, Baba Amar Das, they said to Baba Buddha Ji, you will always be the one that joins the Sangat to the Guru. Akho Satanam Sri. The Pankti just come to my mind. Be kirpa karo ham deen ke date. Mera gun avgun na bicharo jiyo. Maharaj says they teach us how to pray. They teach us how to find the Guru. They give us the marg. They say kirpa karo ham deen ke date. What we have to say, Amandeep Singh, is Guru Sahib kirpa karo ham deen. I am low. Ke date. You're the giver of all these gifts. Mera gun, but don't look at me and judge me by my qualities. Mera gun avgun na bicharo ji. Don't talk about me. I'm not. If you start measuring me, I'm going to come up short. Just do me one favor. Be kirpa karo. Be that. Let me be that person that is within your gift. Let me be that person that is within your gift. That I am able to receive your gifts. Baba Buddha Ji has reached that avastha of Turiya avastha. Sadsangat Ji, we have to weapon ourselves to the task of this life. We have to at least understand that we should be looking to wake. And why I'm so grateful to be here. Chalo, wherever we are in our spiritual journey, how many people even know that they're in a dream? How much of a head start do we have on all of the suffering in this world? Not that we're racing against anybody else, but I would prefer our very, very lucky condition over anybody else's. We're so quick to compare ourselves to everybody else in terms of our financial status, our professional climb, where we are in terms of our life plan, but we're not quick to be thankful to the Guru for taking us out of the swamp of ignorance. By at least we have the understanding, there's a 10th gate here, that when I call the name of God, it opens. And the purpose of my life is to wake, not just with my alarm in the morning, but to wake from this worldly dream as well. And that, Sadsangat Ji, of itself, is something that we should all be massively grateful. The whole world is asleep. The whole world is suffering. Maharaj says, Nanak dukhiya sab sansar. The whole world is in this way. Imagine you're burning. Jagata Jalanda Rakhale. Maharaj says the whole world is on fire. Imagine you're burning alive for the whole of your life and nobody even told you that you were on fire. This is a condition, Satsang. You have to be here, make no mistake about it. This isn't knowledge. This isn't education that you're going to use to educate yourself to get an exam, to pass a test, to get your CMAP, to get your promotion. This education is going to make every moment of your life redefined. I am not a banker, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor. As we go full circle, I am a Praani. I'm here to draw the breath. I'm here to vibrate upon the breath as I observe my responsibilities as a doctor, lawyer, banker, father, mother. I will be all those roles, but those are just a dream. Those are just a play. Those are just an illusion as I seek to wake from this world. As I seek to wake from this world, Sadsangat Ji, as we all seek to wake from this world, we come before the Guru, and now the Guru seems someone that we cannot be away from, that we cannot be without. For they're the ones that have told us about that illusion, and they're also the ones that can wake us. Akho Satanam Sri. Sadsangat Ji, just a quick point on this. This is the gift of Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. That wall, that house, you can still go to that house. It's just outside Darbar Sahib. It's about 20 minutes on an auto. There's a Gurdwara there called Sun Sahib Gurdwara. It's recorded in our history that Maharaj gave a bachan that whomsoever goes through that hole, which is still there, recites a Japji Sahib part after doing there's a sarovar there, you do Ishnan, you go through that hole, and on the other side, as you've guessed it, is where Guru Amar Das Ji sat before. They sit there still in the form of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. It's a Gurdwara now. You go through the hole, and then you find yourselves sitting in the Hazuri of Sri Guru Amar Das Ji Maharaj. Whomsoever goes through, who does Ishnan, goes through that hole, sits and recites a Japji Sahib part, their 84 lakh, all of the dreams of 8.4 million life forms are destroyed. All of the need to travel through 8.4 million lives, they are cut. And you are blessed, obviously, then to be blessed with this life. If you need to come back, obviously, no one's planning to come back. We're here to get Bakshish from Maharaj, that we join with the Guru, that we never separate again. How can we go to Amritsar Sahib and not go to Sun Sahib Gurdwara? Anybody been Sun Sahib Gurdwara before? Can anybody imagine going to the Golden Temple, going to Harmandir Sahib, going to a wedding and not seeking out Sun Sahib Gurdwara? Sadh Sangat Ji, this is the gift of our history. This is the gift of the education. Guru Sahib is telling us who we need to be, what we need to wake from, and where we need to go. Akho Satnam Sri. So Sadh Sangat Ji, today's salok, Jo Maya Mamta Tajai, Lobh Moh Ahankar, Kahu Nanak Aapan Tere, Aur n lete udara, Jo Supna Ar Pekhnaa, Aise Jag ko jaan, in Meh Kach sacho nahi Nanak bin Bhagwan. Maharaj is teaching us that we need to move ourselves away from Mamta. Don't get so entangled in stuff. And the way that we can avoid getting caught in that stuff, rather than just fighting it within the mind, Guru Sahib said the best way you can do that is to realize, be Jo Supna, that this is just a dream. Would you hold on to a dream if you knew you were going to wake from it and have to suffer the consequences of holding on to a dream? Maharaj gave us the example of the king. Narpat ek sangasan soya, supne paya bakari. They posed the question that if a king falls asleep, Achut Raj bicharat dukh paya, so gat pai hamari. Maharaj says if a king falls asleep on a throne and dreams he's a beggar, does that make it so? Inviting us to think that if we're beggars in this world, is it because we are actually beggars, or because we haven't woken up to our true state, which is that we belong in the house of the Guru? We are only beggars in one way. We are beggars from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. Akho Satnam Sri. So this is the teaching, Sadh Sangat Ji. Being entirely transparent, the intention in sharing this vichar is not that we can learn something and just know it, is to understand that, okay, if everything's false except Bin Bhagavan, except the name of God, let's start reciting the name of God in our daily routines. Let's start vibrating upon the Shabbat of Sri Japji Sahib, the part where all this itihas has come from, all this history has been shared from today. Let's start bringing this Bani into our days. Let's start making some progress. Sadh Sangat Ji, you're going to blink, it's going to be Bandi Chhod Divas. We should be thinking about Bandi Chhod Divas, about taking Amrit. You want to wake from this world? The only way that we can wake from this world is from the Panj Pyare. When we go and speak to the Panj and they give us the ability to take Amrit, to drink from the sword, and join with Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj in the Khalsa form, but this is the purpose for which we have come into this world. Let's put it on the agenda, be Dasam Duaar, Khalsa Panth, Panj Pyare, Amrit Sanchar. Let's keep our case. Let's make some moves that we can feel that progress, and then we start feeling excited about making moves, not just within the dream world, but towards our awakening. Sadh Sangat Ji, you are the Sangat of Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj. If I've spoken out of turn, if I've said anything wrong, if I've made any mistakes, I ask for your forgiveness and your blessings. Don't look at our shortcomings. Don't look at our unworthiness. We're the Sangat of the Guru Maharaj. We beg of you that you join us with your charan, that through the blessings of you Maharaj, that we can wake from this world, that we can take your Sikhya, we can bring it into our lives. Be lekhe kathe na shutiye, khene khene pulan har, baksan har baksale nanak, pare utar. Vaheguru Ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki fateh.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Please donate and help spread Guruji's message. Link is in the description below. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.